Well, Pudgy, I guess they're all gone. Oh. Huh? Go get 'em, Pudgy. Come out, Pudgy. Now they're gone. Thanks to dear old Scarecrow.
And a one fish, two fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. And a one fish, two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. Okay, Twitch is good. Two fish. And a red fish, blue fish. Okay, Twitch is good. And so is the YouTube. All right, we're good to go. Fallen Learns, welcome. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Okay, Twitch is good. All right, I'm just about done with the sunrise robe. Everything's loaded in DAS. I just have to take a quick double look at it, and then it's hitting the submit button. Yo, DZ, good to see you, man. And we got Rod Shalley in the house, and CS Bond. All right, so today we're working on coveralls and boots. I think I'm going to do a little bit more. We're going to do a little bit more work in Marvelous Designer. And Rod Shelley. So we'll do a little bit more work in Marvelous Designer to get it ready to get out of here. And then I'm working on boots. Hey, Leo, how are you doing? So anyhow, I'll take a quick here. I'm gonna hype work. Here we go. We'll just do a quick. So the kimono, or it's not a proper kimono, so I call it the sunrise robe. The sunrise robe is all loaded up in the DAS submission form. I just got to look everything over before I hit that submit button. So that's ready. So I'm going to just take a couple of quick. I'm going to show it off real quick here. Projects and promos. So I can never even find where my promos are. There it is, promos. Sunrise robe. We'll take a look over here. I'll show this one off here. We'll start with the little missed yesterday. I wasn't on very long yesterday. It was a short stream. Couple hours later to get their license revealed. Oh, what fun. So anyhow, here's how the robe's looking. I'm happy with how that's coming along. What do we got? There's the zombie version. Actually, Undead Girl. There's the traditional zombie girl. And I think that's going to be the main pick. Thanks. I appreciate that. And I was experimenting. Ruiz over in Jay's Discord mentioned the technique. Actually, and I knew you could but I didn't know it would work so well. You can actually just delete faces, save it, and all the morphs will still work. So to make the long, short, and medium versions, and I've kind of been doing this, but this has been working a lot faster. So it's really easy for me to pretty much make different length versions. And I think that works better than just making parts invisible, because if you make it invisible, I think it's still part of it interferes with the D-force to a certain extent. But now I've been trying this new technique where I actually end up making 12 versions of the outfit. So what we can end up with is, a long, a mid, and a short version. And then what I can do is I have little invisible pieces in here that holds everything together. I get rid of those. We can then have the undone versions. So this is actually like 12 items, but it's basically all one robe just saved out a bunch of times with modifications. So anyhow, I think this is going to work nicely. Fingers crossed. Charles will explode it, I'm sure, because D-Force loves Charles. Anyhow, so that's pretty much in the bag. I am going to work on coveralls today. And I think I'm debating whether or not I want to do short versions of the coveralls or not. I am going to set it up so I can. And what I might do, and then I might just have like well, there's like 2 versions for Genesis 8 and 2 versions for Genesis 9, because I always do the undone versions now. Anyhow, let's open this up and make some changes to the overalls. We'll save that out, and then hopefully I have enough time to pop over and work a little on the boots in Blender. Bum, 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 bum. Let's do a file open, file project. Open project, baggy sweats, nope. Let's come over here. You're in, I think you're in just an overalls. That's it. I just couldn't figure out what it is. There it is. So I am going to add extra lines so I can, if I change, I may not, but I may make short versions of this. Also, I still want to, no, I'm done. I've got all my pockets. I'm not adding any more pockets on this. So I think I'm just going to add some cut lines in here to the sleeves and that. Also, I got to add all my little trim zones. You got to add little extra trims along all the seam lines. So we're going to do that. I need to add cuffs. But anyhow, let's start with putting shorts. Did you not do anything? So I think I'm going to run a line from here out to here. And then we'll add a little offset for that. I need to add cuffs, so let's get that. Let's start with that. I'll just stick that at that line, would you? And we're just going to put you somewhere in there. I want it to come down this way, so we're going to probably have to adjust this one. So we're just going to slide this down maybe this way a bit until I get more of a straight across cut. That's going to work, I think. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's just do a extend trim and add point to pattern outline. And I can measure that. It says 45.1, which means right here we're going to do a split line. 45.1. Say okay to that. And then I want that measurement there is 138.6. So we want that to be, I think that lines up right in here. 138.6, 138.6, 138.6. Got it. All right, now let's just run a line across like this. Let's do a little, let's just check and see how that's looking in the back. You know what, it's probably going to be easy enough now for me to just delete these off, save it out, and then make another version of that. It does complicate hierarchical material files a little bit, but it just means I have to add more things in when I save the files out. Let's do a offset and to pattern outline. And I think that gives me those points. And then we're just going to do, I'm going to do a little offset internal line. Are they both going the same way? They are. I think they are. I'm going to reverse direction on that. And I'm going to say, I like the way that box doesn't look like it's a box anymore. Nice going, guys. Let's say 20 on that. And I'll do that. That'll give me a cuff area on here. Let's cut and sew all of that. Cut and sew, cut and sew. All right, let's add the cuffs. You know what? I think I'm just going to do offset. Dang it. Did I add an extra point there? No. Okay, let's try this again. Offset as an internal line. Let's say 25. Let's turn the reverse direction off on that and say okay. Oh, one of these, it got deselected again. What the hell? Okay. Now we'll cut and sew all of that. Should be good. Moving along. I think I want to add, I'm going to put a line from here up to here. No, yes I am. No, I'm not. I'm going to, yes I am. Do I need this? I don't think I actually need that anymore. Tell you the truth, it served its purpose. Yeah, it served its purpose. What I do need is I need a point. I need a measurement. I need to know where to take this line up to there, I think is what it is. Oh, I do not have cheap viewers. And it would be nice if, you know what, let's just draw the line and then I'll move it in as I need. Actually, hey, there's a little red point right there. I think that means something. You know what, that's probably going to be good enough because I'm going to put, this is going to make a, make for a seam line in here. So I'm going to do a cut and sew on that. And then what I want to do, and I'm going to move this out of the way for just a second so I can make sure I'm selecting the right thing. And we're just going to do a little offset, and I'm going to do the same thing on that and that. And we're going to offset as an internal line just by 5 on those. So just kind of put like a seam through there. Cut and dang it. I can cut and sew that. And we'll cut and sew these. And I think we'll run them through the inseam as well. We'll do the same thing. Offset as an internal line on those. 5. Maybe this time it won't deselect itself. You know, it selects the other. When it does that, it's like the active line ends up over on the other side. Okay, and I'm cutting sew those. So I've got all the trim down here. I'm going to run trim up around the arms and a little on the collar there. So we're going to run trim along the bottoms here. I'm not going to, I get to cut and sew some of these out and arrange them around a little bit. But we'll do our offset as an internal line. We're just gonna, actually, I don't need to do those. What am I doing? I've got a waistband right there. I don't need to add a little extra trim line on top of that waistband. I do want a little trim line there. Actually, let's do these two first here around the arms. And accept that. And we'll just kind of zoom in and cut and sew. I should have, well, did I want the back to still have a seam? I think I am going to leave the seam in the back. I'm not going to add an extra thickness to that though, but I think this is good. I am going to add a internal line there, right along the top edge, and we'll just do a little cut and sew on that. And I do want one right in here. And we'll do a little cut and sew on that. And I think, I don't think you're are you cut and sewn yet? You're not cut and sewn yet. So we got to cut and sew these. Those are the cuffs. Do I want to run one? I don't think I am going to run one along the bottom there. I think I'll leave that alone. There's the pockets. I had to cut and sew those out, didn't I? I did. Okay. So those are good. I got to cut and sew those because this current version of Marvelous Designer is not welding internal lines when it exports. So I have to just basically cut and sew every place I need. So these internal lines up here are just to get the collar to roll, but I have to cut and sew all of that just because Marvelous Designer has been being a butt. Hey, thanks for the band there, Charles. So we'll just do a cut and sew on those. Should be good. And I gotta cut and sew these. What do you do? Are you sewn to anything? I probably don't need these. I think that's just acts as, it's just a center line. You know what? I am going to just cut and sew that because I do kind of want that polygons to run along that row. So we'll do that. Also do this one here. And I'm just running around. Do these. And do I, you know what? I'm going to cut and sew that. I just cut and sew all my internal lines. It's annoying. Most of them are there for reasons to help the geometry flow. I think I'm about good. We have to still come up with our names for our materials. And let's just check our quads. Okay, something isn't quite. Let's just double check. It's still red, which means something thinks it still tries, probably. So we'll just put this into a wireframe and see if we can spot who's being bad. Those are bad. Okay, and then if I control A, quad optimized is white, so that means I shouldn't have anything in tries. I'm going to take a look at this. You know what? Those all lined up kind of nicely. I think I'm good. I'm going to try, let's maybe tighten things up for UV purposes. I don't need this image in the background anymore, so let's just get rid of that. Can I just delete you? There's probably an option to remove, right? "2D background options." Is there a format 2D? Maybe it was in the format. Can I just, if we do a reset, there we go. That works. All right, let's tighten this up for UV purposes. So I'm just going to start nudging stuff a little tighter. Get a little bit cleaner UV map out of this. If I was really psychotic about UV efficiency, I would take it into Blender and use the UV Pack Master. But I would rather have it be easier to look at and figure out what's what instead of having it super optimized. At least for the purposes for working with Daz. I think that's nice. Maybe we bring you both down. Pack you down this way. I'm going to line this one up a little bit better with that over there. It'll just look prettier that way. Maybe we can just bring you in. Let's line this a little bit better with that. I still haven't quite decided where I'm going to want to put the sleeves. I might, if we put them above and I take all of this stuff and move it off to the side or something, do I have enough room for that? I'm going to try a couple of different things. So if we kind of, well, I mean, the first thing is if I can get you just maybe nudged in there a little bit better. I'm thinking that might actually be my best bet. I can't tell if I'm lining up with this. I'm going to just drag that all the way over here for just a second. Make sure that's lined up. Then we'll just run that over here. Just take all of these guys, stick them in there. I still probably have a bunch of extra space up here. So the other option, if I were to rotate those and stick them above, then I'm probably going to have a bunch of space over here. And for purposes of UV mapping, this might work out well. I think let's take a look at the UV pattern. UV editor. Let's reset and fit. And you see I got all this extra wasted space here. I mean, I could tighten this up a little bit. So if I take these, rotate them, stick them up here and move this, I think I can get a little more efficiency out of it. So I think maybe we'll do that. We'll rotate the sleeves, line them up in here, take the collar and the pockets, stick them off to the sides. Let's go ahead and just do it that way. So I'm going to grab both of you guys and I'm just going to, whoops, drag you all, dang it, drag you all up this way for a second. Take my pockets. We'll just put you guys right there. Let's clean up the, I'm going to rearrange the collar a little bit actually. You know what? I want to actually weld. I don't need to weld. I'm just going to line it up as if it's attached like so. And I'm going to flip this around. Are you still linked? You are. Excellent. Because actually, that's kind of lines up in here. Not, oh yeah, U-line, there's a little bit of, this sticks out a little bit further, so it actually lines up kind of in there. And do I want to just go ahead and maybe line you up like that? I think I'll do that. And then let's get you off to the side. Is that sticking out past there? It probably is. Oh, I can't, I have to remove the linked editing and then I can rotate the whole thing. Hopefully I'm not going to regret this. And you know what? I'm just going to put you over here. And now let's just rotate those. And maybe nudge you into here. I think that's pretty close. Let's see how that's looking. All right. Nope, cancel that. I want to reset and then fit. Say okay. Yeah, I think it's a little more efficient. Can I just maybe... I can't just nudge things in this. It drives me crazy. Well, I mean, the nudge is set to units of 1. Or maybe not. It's not even nudging anymore. So never mind. Nudging was just a fever dream from long ago. I'm holding the shift key down, but that obviously was not the thing to do. It's so snappy. I think this will be fine. Let's hit save on that. All right, let's break down our materials. Oh no, I want to cut the sleeve still. That's right. I want to cut the sleeve right about in there. So I'm going to put a split right there, right there. That number is, we're going to call that 60 because that's nice and round and easy to remember. And we'll just come over here and split in 60 and say okay on that. I'm just going to run a little line through there. Cut and sew that. Okay, what are you? You are 40. Let's go ahead and just do an offset. Internal line. 40. Okie dokie. Cut and sew. And no, I don't like that. I'm going to go the other way. And we're going to go like maybe 20 the other way. 25. No reverse direction on that. Okay, come on. Let me change that number. Okie dokie. I'm not seeing. I cut and sew that. I think that'll be fine. And if I want to make, I'll call it sleeve and sleeve long. This will be cut and cuff. Cuff 01, cuff 02. Actually, we'll call it sleeve 1, sleeve 2, sleeve 3, and cuff. There. I like that. And we'll do the same thing on the pant legs. We'll call it leg 1, leg 2, leg 3, and then cuff. I'll call it pant. Pant 01, pant 02, pant 0, and there. And then I also have to split up pant trim 01, pant trim 03. Yeah, that'll work. That'll do. Cut and sew. It said it failed to fit the pattern. Let's offset as in, nope, cancel that. Let's extend and trim into pattern outline. Oh, you know what it is? It thinks this line is part of this pattern piece. So what I need to do is I inadvertently selected this instead of this because they're on top of each other. What I want is that. Offset as internal line, say okay. That went the wrong way because I have reverse turned on still. Turn reverse off. Say okay. Let's just nudge that back into place, and then let's cut and sew those. All right, I think that's good. I am going to call it top, bottom, and sleeve. And let's call it top. Actually, let's call it top trim to start with. And actually, I'm going to say overall top. Although I don't really. This is going to be a two-piece outfit, boots and I don't need to actually. If I had like 3 or 4 pieces, I would probably try to add more words in here, but I think I'm fine. So that's good. So I'm just going to call you top. Actually, call you just collar. We'll just do that. Boop. Where am I? Sleeve 01. Sleeve 02. Sleeve 03. Sleeve cuffs. Waistband. Okay, there's these 2 little thin strips that I will delete at some point. This is going to become zipper attachment. So I can easily, and I've discovered something weird. Well, not weird, it actually makes sense. Because these are only 1 poly wide in DAZ, if I delete this out and the vertexes stay there, morphs made for either version will still be usable because DAZ is only looking at vertices when it's making morph targets. So I discovered that I can just make a morph target for the version with this in here. And then when I delete these polys out, the vertices are still there. And the vertexes I made for the original, if I can just reload morph targets in for either version. It's kind of cool. And I don't know if that made sense to anybody besides me. given how poorly I explain stuff. Anyhow, I'm going to call that zipper attachment. It makes it easy for me to find that later on and get rid of it if I want to. Also, in the closed up version, those will be there, but I will just make them invisible. So they will still hold the zipper together. Pockets. I need pockets and pocket trim. Because there's a pockets. Pocket trim. Oh, you know what? Also, I want to add a little line right there. I'll set as an internal line. No, I think I'm still doing it. I'll call that 5. Say okay. I'll do a cut and sew on those. So these will be pocket tops, and these will be pocket pocket high, pocket low, pocket trim high, pocket trim low, or pocket high trim. I think that will go that, something like that. Anyhow, am I cutting sewing? I'm cutting and sewing, and this is a little trim line right here. This is a fake pocket. That doesn't open. It just you can just see it's there, but it doesn't do anything because I'm being a slacker. This one will actually be a pocket because it's only sewn on these sides. But I didn't want to... I have played with this before. You know what? That's not supposed to be there anymore. I don't need you. And actually, I do have... I do have a separated pocket there. So I guess I did put a real pocket in. Oops. Oh well. We'll just live with that. I may decide that's a bad idea and I might trim and then sew that on. In that way. The problem is using D-Force is this layer here underneath might inadvertently push its way through in the simulation. That could also happen up here too. If I'm getting those sort of results, I might jump back into Marvelous Designer and redo the way the pockets are set up. Anywho, what was I doing? I'm making materials. Pocket trim. Let's call this pocket high. Or pocket breast. And pocket waist. And pocket trim. Pocket breast trim. Pocket. Waist. Hip. Yeah, I'll say waist. I don't know, you call it, I don't know what you call it. The hip pockets are one in the back though, right? Pocket waist trim. Waist. Waistband. Okay, let's say this is actually going to be part of this. That's that trim. Actually, that's going to be that waist pocket. That's the waist pocket trim. I think this will all be pant. I'll call it pant. '01. Pant '01 trim. Pant '02. There isn't actually an '02 trim, so I'm not going to do that. This is going to be pant '03, which is the bottom part. Pant '03 trim. Pant cuffs. I think I'm good. I think I'm good. All right, let's give these colors. So let's apply that. Apply that. Apply that. Apply that. Did I apply? I may have. I don't know. This, I wish these colors would export out. I guess I could save, I don't, actually, will it save these colors as a material? And can I use that as the ID map? Maybe. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try saving out a color map. I normally haven't been playing with the maps out of this program. We'll give that a shot. We'll see if I can get maybe a 4K ID map out of this. Oops, we forgot the waistband. I probably forgot to click on the apply button. Okay, I think we're getting there. Oh no, my collar rolled up. What the hell? It had been perfectly fine. You know what? It probably happened when I put all the cuts in there. I probably lost all my folds. I got to go back in here and add all my folds again. Damn you. Yeah, I know you got a fold here, bro, but we're not going to remember that shit. Come on, man. So I'm going to spread all of this out. I'm going to go back in here and force these to roll. Then I'm going to put them back together again. So what I need to do is come into here and select those. And yep, I lost my fold angles. I always forget which way to go on this. Let's try 200. Maybe it was 160. 160 is starting to sound like what it used to be. Yeah, I think that's going to be good. So then I just have to come through here and set these to 160. 60. Can I select more than those at a time? Those are... They're backwards, and I know why. It's because the normals are flipped. That'll be fine. I'm not gonna close that gap up then. 60. Okay, let's see how that rolls back into shape now. There we go. Oh no. Oh no. My attachments got detached. Probably when I cut and sewed. Damn it. Yep, all that sewing went away. You're still there. I just need to sew you to over here, right? I think so. Are these still attached? I lost those too. Are you still attached? Did I lose all the sewing in here on one side? I think I did. Yeah, okay. It gets a little tedious. Hey, that mirrored. Yay. Okay. I'm going to move that out of the way. I think I can just do this to this. So those will go back together. Okay, then I just got to get this sewn back over to here. So what I want to do is sew that up to there. If that doesn't go all the way, that's the reason why I'm doing it this way. All right, let's see if that goes back together nicely. Yep, I think we're good. Is that still sewn on the top there? It is. I think we're good. All right, I just need to start assigning materials out. What happens if I unstrengthen the collar? Oh, I want to put this back together, right? All right, I'm just going to set that in there. I Control H that. Does it still kind of hold its shape? It does. What if I unstrengthen you? Am I going to severely regret this? You know what? That's looking okay. I think we can live with that. All right, let's start assigning materials. Let's run you down there. Let's hit a save. This is a good spot to make sure I've got everything saved. All right, what's the top? Let's put you back over there. And I'm going to just kind of roll you over there. And I don't need to be looking at wireframe. I think I can just, we'll do front texture shaded because that makes it easier for me to see what I'm up to. And with that, I can come over here and choose top. Oops, I thought I had you selected. Do I not get a material for you? And you didn't change. They keep tweaking shit, I swear. Okay, why are you? Oh, you have him. Can I just cut and sew those? Wait a minute. What if I just get rid of you? Yeah, now I'm losing my sewing. What if I lose the top lines? Nope. What if I just cut? Failed to cut patterns, pattern outlines, and holes are intersecting. Damn it. This is annoying. I've got to, because you're a hole. Oh, I'm selecting the wrong thing because it's in the way. Because these are on top and I have to put them to the bottom because I can't click on these because it thinks I'm clicking on that. Okay, we can figure out a way around this, right? Send to something, something. Align, distribute, order, send to, back. All right, there we go. Is this going to work now? There we are. All right, disaster averted. Okay, you are sleeve 1. You are sleeve 1. You are sleeve 2 and sleeve 2. Sleeve 3. Sleeve cuffs. Waistband. Actually, I should just grab this whole thing here, right? Zipper attachments. These are these things right in here. Pocket breasts. Those are those two. And pocket breast trim is that. Pocket waist is, you're supposed to be over there. And you should probably go back over here. But these are the pocket waists right here. And then we have this little doohickey right there and there. Do I have waistband in here twice? Oops, missed. Dang it. I like the way I have the pointer on one thing and it's dropping it on another. I do have waistband in here twice. I'm going to get rid of you. And I'm going to, waistband should be one word, I think. Okay, pant 1 are these top pieces here, including those, except I don't want, actually, I should just grab you guys like that and that. And then these are pant 2, which of course I missed. Because it's clicking on the other things. Hey, Mr. Will Be Lurking, doing your own thing. Hey, Pavlin, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Oops. Let's do that and that and that. And drop in. What am I on? I'm on pant 2. There we go. Okay, this is the pant 1 trim right in here. Likewise, over here. Nope. Right there. Pant 1 trim. Let's see if I can get that on there. Yay. Okay, these are pant 3 and pant 3 trims. Pant 3, there, 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 and there. These are the pant cuffs. I can just grab and get those. Those are the easy. I got these little trim pieces here and here, and then I've also got them here and here. And that's the pant 3 trim. Right there. Nope. Nope. Are you not? Oh, you know what? You're selected. Let's deselect that. There we go. Oh, you know what? I missed that one, didn't I? Bad boy, bad boy. Dang it. I can see where my pointer is. And let's just double check these. All right, I think I'm good. Oh, no, wait, you are... Oh, you're part of pant 1 trim, too. You're over here. I should get you, which means if I missed that one, I also missed that one. God dang it. Your pocket waist trim. Boop. And there we go. That is pant 1 trim there. I think we're good. Let's hit save on that. All right, now we're ready. I think. Are you looking all right? So now we're ready to refit this to Genesis 8 female and the Genesis 9 base. So let's do the 9 base first, because I can use the 9 base to build the Genesis 8 female and Daz. I've been slacking that way. So I'm going to do a save as on this. We're going to save you as G9 base. I think we're good to go. All right, let's load in the G9 base morph target here. Let's pop over here to our G9 avatars. I'll take that base and we will add it to the workspace as a morph target. And I'm going to say OK. I think I want these sleeves to be longer. Let's turn gravity. Do I have gravity on? I do not. Let's put gravity on. I think that's going to be fine. I'm getting a little bit of weird stretching here. I think I'm going to live with that. Let's see how this works out. So we'll take that and file and export OBJ selected. Let's come into here. Overalls G9. I'll say base so I know what it is. And is this all good? No. No. What the? Why are you suddenly? And then out of nowhere, this dialog box starts giving me different settings. That's why you occasionally look at this. Let's see what the diffuse map looks like. I'm going to take a quick look at what we just exported. How big are you, by the way? That doesn't tell me. I probably should have paid more attention to the exporter. Let's take a look. You know what? That might work as an ID map. That's a janky. Let's try this again. Let's see if we can improve the export settings for the size of the maps. And this time we're going to pay attention to, there it is. Let's why don't I do 8K on that? What is 8K? 1024 496 8182, is that right? I want to say 8182. I don't know. I need to know 4096 plus 4096. Just 8192. Okay, I had it right. Okay. It's taking its sweet time generating that map. All right, I think we're good. Let's go back to, so let's hit save on that. Let's flip back to the G. That one, I'm going to cancel that because I wasn't sure what I clicked on. That one right there. I'm going to export this out. G9 feminine. Feminine. Is this all? What is, what's the thing? What's the dealio? Let's try that. I don't know if I exported the other one out right now because my export box is changing itself. So we're going to open that up and re-export it just to be sure because I wasn't really paying attention. File, export, OBJ selected, over that. Nope, I think I got it wrong. And then out of nowhere, it's deciding it wants to export as thick again. So now I have to pay attention to that box once again. Damn it. All right, should be good. Now we'll reopen and then fit it to the Genesis 8. Yeah, you. Let's try. Let's do the 94.1. Let's put gravity on. Let's stop that. Let's export. Am I in the... Of course I'm not in the right folder because I imported in a shape from somewhere else. So it thinks that's where I want to be exporting, even though I wasn't exporting here. I want to export over here. At least that was in the recents. 8 female. There we go. Save that. Okay. Let's hit save on here. Oh, damn it. I didn't want to save that. Damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it, damn it. I'm going to try to recover. I accidentally saved over my base. Let's see if we can get this to fit back to the base figure. Or the feminine figure. Add to workspace. And let's turn off gravity. Actually, can I undo? And then file, save as, project. No, save as project, damn it. No, damn it, I did it again. Save as project, not save project. Arg. All right, now we get rid of you. Bring you back in. I'll have to tweak that back into shape. You know what? I should have reloaded you back in as a morph target. Let's try that. Probably good enough. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and save that out as an OBJ. What do you mean you're meshing the pattern? You didn't do anything. Oh, I drew in a box. What the hell? What's... Oh, I must have hit the S instead of the A. Oh my god. Why? No, single object. Welded. Thin. I don't need the diffuse map anymore. It should be good. I think I've got save on this. I'll take a quick peek at that. Yeah, so I can use that as a ID map, I think. It's pretty clean. All right, let's see if we can rig this up in Daz Studio real fast and then maybe play with the boots. Genesis 9, base, activate. I have never used this tool, Region Navigator tool. No idea what it's for, honestly. How did I select it? I don't know. Let's import in. We are lost in. I am on the wrong drive. There we go. We're going to bring this one in. All right, let's quickly test it out. We're just going to throw a D-force modifier on there, and we'll just simulate it and see if anything bad happens. Looks fine. All right, we can cancel that. Turn that off. Oops, that's not the turn off. That's the run the sim. That's the clear the sim. All right, let's Do I have a folder set up for this? We do not, so let's set up a content directory in here. I'm running over to my template folder. Let's grab all of these. Put back to here, paste all of those. Oh, there's stuff in there? Oh, there might be, yeah. I don't need the data directory. I think I'm good. Templates, I don't need that. I do need people. Genesis 8, clothing, me. The outfit, overalls. I don't have a clever name for this. Should I just call it, should I just make these a CC basic? And just call it CC overalls? You know what, I think we'll do that just for branding purposes. And just give it something that stands out from overalls. Can I just rename you? CC overalls. Do I want to? How am I spelling? Am I putting a space in there or not? Chris can't remember how he names his own products. I think there's a. I'm not. I'm closing it up. I'm not closing it up. I'm closing it up. I am closing it up. That's not my product. That's Valkyrie's. Okay. All right. We don't put a space in CC. Got it. So we're going to rename this. Dang it. There we go. All right, that's the, also let's pop over here to templates. You know, I really should put a vanity folder in here so I don't have to do this every time. Okay, now we're ready to start Let's use the transfer tool. Boop. Genesis 9. Overalls. We'll use a bodysuit loose. All right, let's rename this. Let's go take a look at our property, our scene identifiers. I'm going to change that. We'll add a TC to that. Let's clean up the material names because we did come from Marvel Youth Designer, so it probably got them all wrong. It's got all the garbage in there. Getting there. Alrighty, that is done. Let's add D-Force. Let's come over here and tweak the D-Force. Main thing, we just set that to 0.1. Alright, let's run the sim again just to make sure we're not going to cry later on. We'll also take a quick look at the UVs. See if I have to re-export everything or not. Okay, that seems to be fine. UV view, yay! UV view is looking good. That could be a little better. I'm not going to worry about it. Probably. Actually, now's the time to. Nah, we're good. We're good. I'm not fixing that. Never mind. No, those are pocket pieces. Why are those? They just look weird. It's these angles. We'll go back to perspective view. So is there anything else I need to do in here at this point? I don't think so. I think I'm ready to... Oh yeah, we still want to do the couple other things. The subdivision and the collision, or the convert the sub D and add the smoothing modifier. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to remember to do this from now on for the mesh smoothing. Because of the way I'm using Morse, I'm going to set this to be generic instead of the base shape. And I'm going to make sure to hit the memorize figure button this time. Should be good. Alrighty. I think this is good for saving. Actually, let me just throw the base shader on here. Oh, default base. Uh-oh, could not be found. What happened to my default base stuff? No. It was just here a little while ago. Alright, let's find it. Let's find it. Fix it. I'm going to put you over there right now. Default base stuff. Default base stuff. Oh, because you're in the kimono folder. I stuck you down there. That's a terrible place for that. I'm going to stick this in. I'm going to move my content library over here for a second. What was I thinking? I'll just put that right there in my main DAZ library. And then what we're going to do is where did it go? Did I not just put you in here? I have to refresh you. That's right. There it is, default base. I think that's safe enough that we can look at. There's that default base. So I'm going to, let's do, can I just get rid of you from here? I can't. Let's go into Windows, Workspace, Customize. Is that what I'm looking for? Yep. Here in Custom Actions, we're going to come down here and we're going to delete that because that's a bad. That's not good anymore. We'll just delete that custom action. And then I'm going to apply and accept because Steve told me to always apply and accept. And then we're going to just take this and create a custom action. There we go. Accept that. There we go. And now when I do this, it works. And that's not the that's not what I wanted. You're the wrong one. All of that, and I chose the wrong one. I wanted this one here. Never mind. Now we're good. I think I'm ready to save this, and then we'll convert to Genesis 8 real quick, and then we'll go play with Boots. I know. I keep promising Boots. So here, we'll do save as a figure prop asset, which I stuck a button for on there. We're going to go in the projects. I'm going to go to overalls and people and Genesis 9 and clothing and me and CC overalls. And right here, we're going to call this CC Music Factory overalls. Genesis 9. There we are. You're going to be CC overalls for the product name. This is the first one, so I have to actually type this in. CC overalls. Are we good? Wardrobe full body. I think this is fine. Oh, I don't have this in an asset directory yet. Uh-oh. Cancel that. I have to come over here and do this thing. Content Directory Manager. DAZ Studio formats. And I have to add that the overall. We have to add this directory into my content and accept that. And now we should be able to save. Hey, look at that. It remembers where I was last time. There we are. Now we're good. See, now I've got an asset directory path there. And we'll come all the way down. There's the over folder. People. Genesis 9. Clothing. Me. CC overalls. There they are. I'm going to save this as a whip file. Save as scene. Let's come over here and let's put a new folder in my promos. whip. Accept that. All right, let's get rid of you. Let's load in Genesis 9 or Genesis 8. My camera even lined up anymore. It looks a little crooked. Alrighty. You are Genesis 9. You are full body. I'm going to accept that. Okay, so the shape's probably a little weird. You know, actually not too bad. But I'm going to go ahead and update it with the one that's actually designed for this. So let's select that, and I'm going to update the geometry vertex position with the with this one right here. I have to scale that up though. Hold on a second. I think it's like 10629.9 or something, but I gotta double check that. I thought I had that over here. One oh six two 9.9. That's the scaling factor that I need to use. 10629.9. And accept that. And it says the target geometry is wrong. No, why is target geometry wrong? What did you do to me? Marvelous designer, what did you do? Why you... You probably got exported thick. Look at the size of that. Damn you, Marvelous designer, and your broken export box. For the longest time, I haven't been having to check anything in that box when exporting it, and now it's just fricked itself up. Wasted my time. Let's try you. Let's select all of that. Oh, you see, you're still... I thought I saved. No, you're the G9F file. GA female, there it is. Okay, now let's try this again. Do that. All right, then welded should be good. Let's take a look at over here. So that's looking better. That's now 3 instead of 7. So I hope that this will now work. It should be good. There we go. That worked. Yay. I'm going to recalculate the smoothing modifier because the shape is a little bit different than the other one. So edit geometry, remove smoothing modifier, edit geometry, add smoothing modifier, come over to parameters, mesh smoothing, switch that to generic, and hit the memorize button. Should be good. We'll just double check with that. I'm getting a little, we'll have to do a little bit of work at the feet because this is going down onto the feet. So when we make the boots, we'll have to pull those feet up just a little bit. I think that's going to work okay. I'm going to cancel that. I should just be able to save this now like this. So save that as a figure prop asset. Put over here. Actually, before I need to do a couple changes here. I should change the name of this. GA female. Also, I'm going to change the scene identifier. And now we'll save that out. And you should now be in my drop-down box, CC overalls. There we go. And content type is wearable, follower, wear wardrobe, full body. So I think tomorrow I'll probably be making textures for this, not on stream. So now we're good. I think I'm going to stop playing with Daz and we'll just work on the boots and Blender now. So do I want to save whip? What the heck? Let's save whip. I should be okay. Let's say overalls. And let's call you 05. I think hoodie will be 6. Basic sweats, maybe 7. Although I might end up doing the prom panties first, which would become 8. And I think we're good with this. Okay, activating the Blender. You know, it's been a week since I've installed a new version of Blender. It's probably time. That was probably in my recents too. Overall boots. I saw it right there. So this is kind of where we left off with it last time. I was setting up the laces, and I want to do the soles. I think I'm going to do a thinner and a flat sole. So maybe we'll work on that a little bit. And I think I'm going to add some geometry to pull some lugs out in the front and the back. Dang it. So what happens if I do this and this? Does that expand? Very good. Yay. And then I got all of that. Yay. You know what I probably don't need is I think maybe I'm going to get rid of these here and here and flatten it out and space it out a little bit. So I think I'm going to dissolve. I want to dissolve those and maybe dissolve those. And then flatten this out. And space it out a little bit better. And then maybe rebuild the interior. I kind of like that flow on that though. I know I do want that to go either through here or up into here. I think what we'll do is we'll put I'll add a loop cut right there. And I'll add a loop cut right there. And then we'll just do a little bit of cutting in there. In there. And then I gotta get that matched over here. Oh, I need a loop. That loop cut didn't go all the way across, did it? So I do need that. Probably okay. Probably gonna slide you a little bit. Slide you down a little. Might be good. All right, now let's do a flatten on this. I'm in the wrong. There we go. That's better. Uh-oh. Let's switch you to global. I'm going to just curve that front up a little. Something like that. All right. I'm thinking. I'm going to smooth this out just a little bit. Can I just do that with the smooth? Or do I want to do it with a relax? If we do a relax, what does that do? Nah, that's nasty. If we pop over to sculpting, and I use the smooth tool. Are you a smooth tool? You are smooth. I kind of like the way that's going. Dang it. Maybe something like that. Let me see if I can tweak that heel a little bit. I'm going to put some little, I want to straighten this up right here. Let's go back to layout, tab back in. I'm going to do some G stretching here. I just want to get these all straight. I have a plan. I'm going to put a little bit of a bevel in here. I'm going to pull some lugs out of this, is what the plan is. Can I G stretch multiple items at a time? Probably not. It does. Okay, cool. Because if I had these, if I did this, I think this isn't going to work. Yeah, that's just nasty. Let's not do that. Let's do, well, we'll do like every other one. G stretch seems to be able to cope with that fairly well, right? I'm just straightening these edges out. And not that one, every other one. I just said every other one, so of course I'm not paying attention to myself. Yeah, I think I will put one through there. Every other one like that. And then I'm going to kind of do the same thing. Why are you are okay, and then every other one. And then every other one. Maybe something like that. I'm thinking I want to pull that a little further forward. I thought I G stretched this. Yeah. All right, let me try something that's going to be really obnoxious looking. I should, you know what? I probably should upsize this a little bit and then pull the lugs out. Maybe let's try. You could probably use at least one level of subdivision, if not two. So if I apply that, what do we got? It did not apply. Shift A, there we go. And then what I got is that. You know what? I might be able to just work with this. We'll do 2, skip 1, actually we'll do 3, skip 1, do 3, skip 1. Something like that. Yeah, let's do that. So maybe like so. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That got left behind. Maybe we just don't do the edges. I think that might work. This is kind of tedious. I'm going to set up a can I do a vertex group and we'll just select the polys? I'm not sure. Let's try that. Nope. All right. It's selecting the vertexes. That's why it's called the vertex group. You know what I can do is do I have a surface called lugs? So lugs, there we go. I assign that. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing over here. All right, I'm going to try that again. Except I'm going to start there. Probably going to regret this. I keep getting There we go. Oh, and I didn't want this edge. Oh no, what happened to my assignment? There we go. I go to all that trouble to select things. I should at least kind of save the selection, right? All right, now I'm coming around the corner. What do I got in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to have an odd number. You know what I think I'm going to do? I'm just put a wide gap in the middle here and do that. I think I'm just going to add a few extra ones in here. Maybe like that. This comes over to here. I'm going like 4, right? And I'm skipping 2. And I'm skipping 2, coming over 4. Skipping 2, come over 4. Do that. I think I'll just kind of add a couple more in here. I got this center line here, so maybe we'll do something like that. Hey, you need to head to bed. Sorry. Hey, thanks for being here, Charles. As always, it's a pleasure to catch you, man. Oh, yeah. Have a good night, man. We will see you later. Catch you later, arbitrator. Is that the same? Is that the same? I'm thinking that's not right. Said nobody ever, right? Maybe in here, over to there. I think I'll go with that. All right, I'm just going to pull these out, make lugs out of them, and hopefully it looks kind of like a boot pattern. No boot pattern I've ever seen, but that's the way we're rolling around here. I'm going to select all of those. Let's just do a Control F. Extrude faces along normals and just pull those out like that. I think I'm going to taper those just a hair. So here, let's pop over to we'll do the individual origins and we'll scale, but not on the Z. Scale, not on the Z. So we'll just kind of bring those in just a little bit like that. Yeah, it looks kind of like a boot pattern. I think I can live with that. And what do we got? We got 7 minutes left, which means I'm probably going to swap this out, and eventually I'm going to get these lined up better on here. But right now, I got to expand that pattern just a little bit. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to make sure all of that is assigned to sole lugs like that. So I think that's going to be the basics for the work boot. Probably going to make those a little bit smaller. Can I still edit that? Is that still in the... This is a lace generator I picked up using GeoNodes mostly. I'm not keeping that texture. I'll swap that out for my own. But where is the... Are you the thickness? There's a width. Can I just... Yeah, I'm going to make those narrower like that, I think. That works. And one last thing before I call it a night, I'm going to tweak this eyelid a little bit. The default one is just a simple torus. I want a little more shape in mine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off these two rows here. And then I'm going to pull, and then this one here, I don't need that one. And I'm going to pull you down a bit. Like so. And do I want this internal? I think I want to tweak the radius a little, make this a little bit thicker on the inside. So I think we're just going to do a proportional editing scale. Actually, I can just do these without, I don't really need proportional editing for this one because it's got so few. So we scale, but not Z. I can just pull that in a little like that. Actually, I'm going to scale, but not Z. Pull you back out a little. And I want that to be my eyelet. Maybe we pull the top parts up a little bit further. And that being the case, I want to maybe do like so. And that should, yeah, all right. And then I'm still have to realign up the laces. I think I'm going to call it here for the night. It's kind of a janky way to do it, but I think it looks fine. It's instead of trying to get an exact pattern on there that'll require strange shapes in the geometry that I don't already have. So I'm going to leave off the boots here. So eventually these boots will become part of, and I closed Daz. Oh, boo-hoo. Anyhow, we'll open up Daz. Let's see who's on, and we'll rate something out. DC, you're still here. Good to see you. Who is on the Twitch first tonight on this Tuesday? I will be back Thursday, 7 p.m. Same bat channel, same bat time. Hey, if you're not shopping DZ's stores, check him out. He's over at Daz and Renderosity. Super cool products, always worth it, worth looking into. Hum diddy hum. Where am I? I am here. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and see what art friends are on. Plobby's on. We might do Plobby tonight. Plobby does 3D. He's calling it developer night. Actually, let's go over and say hi to Zyrostana. She does cross-stitching. And I'm in a commercial. So she's cross-stitching. And it's always cross-stitching with Zyrostana. She's really cool, though. So let's go over and say hi to her. Periodically, I like to get over there and say hi to her. Yeah, good to see you, Rod. Sorry about taking so long with the DMV. You're probably wishing that part of the government was shut down, right? If only the states shut down with the federal government, you could put it off a few more days. Anyhow, hey, I got a Daz store. Feel free to buy my stuff. Hey, I got a Discord. Feel free to join. If there's anybody watching on the YouTube, thank you. Like and subscribe. If you're on Twitch, feel free to join this raid. We're going to go over and say hi to our good friend Zyrostana. She is doing cross-stitching. So let's do this. / we have the raid calls. If you're not a subscriber, feel free to use this raid call. If you are a subscriber, you can use the sub raid call. Boom. Yeah. All right, let's go over and do this raid. I gotta copy and paste this. Like I said, I will be back in 2 days on Thursday, 7 p.m. Probably working on this outfit. We'll see if I can get this submitted by Monday. My goal is trying to get a product a week. That's my ideal goal. Last week's took a little longer than I wanted, but this week's is going fairly smoothly, so I think I can pick up the time with the overalls. It's pretty simple. My next few projects, I think I'm going to try to do little simpler things. And am I good? I've copied and pasted. I'm pasting my raid call in. Control V. That didn't work because I didn't copy. I'm going to copy. Control C. Control V. All right. We're good to go. All right. Thank you all for being here. I hope you all have a good rest of a Tuesday or Wednesday for those of you on the happy side of the planet. Chris is going to come over here, copy his raid call, and hasta la vista, baby.